Hi there everybody, thank you for clicking on this video. Welcome back to Ms. Johnson's Read Aloud Time. We're going to continue on reading The One and Only Ivan. We're almost done with the story, so it sounds like some really good things are happening with Ruby, so we're going to see what happens next. Hopefully she goes to the zoo. Let's find out. Here we go. Poking and prodding. The lady comes again. She brings in animal doctor with an awful smell and a dangerous looking bag. He spends an hour with Ruby poking and prodding. He looks in her eyes, her feet, her trunk. When he's done with Ruby, he enters my cage. I wish I could hide under not tag from Bob, like Bob. Instead, I do a nice loud chest beat, and after a moment the doctor retreats. We're going to need to put this one under, he says. I'm not quite sure what he means, but I strut around my cage feeling victorious anyway. No painting. No one asked me to paint today. No one asked Ruby to perform. There are no shows, no visitors, unless you count the protesters. Max stays in his office all day. More boxes. I wake up from a long morning nap. Bob is on my belly, but he isn't asleep. He's watching the ring, where 4 men are placing a large metal box. It's my sized. What's that? I say, blurry with sleep. Bob nuzzles my chin. I believe the box is for you, my friend. I'm not sure what he means. Me? They brought in a bunch of boxes while you were sleeping. Looks to me like they're taking the whole lot of you. He says casually, licking his paw. Even Thelma. Taking, I repeat, taking us where? Well, some to the zoo, probably. Others to an animal shelter, where humans will try to find them homes. Bob shakes himself. So I guess all good things must come to an end, huh? His voice is bright, but his eyes are far away and sad. I'm going to miss your stomach, big guy. Bob shuts his eyes. He makes an odd noise in his throat. But what about you? I ask. I can't tell if Bob's just pretending to sleep, but he doesn't answer. I gaze into the huge, shadowy box, and suddenly I understand how Ruby feels. I don't want to go in the box. The last time I was in the box, my sister died. Goodbye. When George and Julia come that night, George doesn't get his mop or his broom. He gathers up his tools and belongings while Julia runs to my cage. This is my last night, Ivan, she says as she presses her palms to the glass. Mac fired my dad. Tears slipped down her cheeks, but the zoo lady said maybe they'll have an opening there in a while, cleaning cages and stuff. I walk to the class that separates us. I put my hand where Julia's is, palm to palm, finger to finger. My hand is bigger, but they're not so very different. I'm going to miss you, Julia says, and Ruby and Bob, but this is a good thing. Really, it is. You deserve a different life. I stare at her dark eyes and wish I had words for her. Sniffling, she goes to Ruby's cage. Have a good life, Ruby, she says. Ruby makes a little rumbling sound. She puts her trunk between her bars and touches Julia's shoulder. Where's Bob, anyway? Julia asks. She looks around under tables in my cage by the trash can. Dad, she calls, have you seen Bob? Bob? Nope. George says. Julia's brow winkles. What's going to happen to him, Dad? What if Max shuts down the whole mall? He says he's going to try and keep it open and without the animals, George says. He stuffs his hands into the pockets. I'm worried about Bob too, but he's a survivor. You know what, Dad? Julia gets a gleam in her eye. Bob could live with us. Mom loves dogs. He could keep her company, and Jules, I'm not even sure I have a job yet. I may not be able to feed him, let alone some mutt. To feed you, let alone some mutt. My dog walking money. Sorry, Jules. Julia nods. I understand. She starts to leave, then runs back to my cage. I almost forgot. This is for you, Ivan. She slips a piece of paper into my cage. It's a drawing of Ruby and me. We're eating yogurt raisins. Ruby is playing with another baby elephant. I'm holding hands with a lovely gorilla. She has red lips and a flower in her hair. I look, as I always do at Julia's pictures, like an elegant fellow, but something is different about this drawing. In this picture, I am smiling. Click. The door in my cage is popped open. I can't stop staring at it. My door. Open. The giant box has been moved. It's open too. The humans have pushed it up against my doorway. If I walk through the door, I enter their box. The zoo lady, whose name is Maya, is here again. Click. Yogurt raisin. Click. Tiny marshmallow. Click. Ripe papaya. Click. Apple slice. Hour after hour, click after click, I look over at Ruby. She waits to see what I do. I touch the box. I sniff the dark interior where a ripe mango sits. Click, click, click. I have to do it. Ruby is watching me from between the bars of her cage. And this box is the way out. I step inside. An idea. After I leave the box and step into my cage, I get an idea, a good one. I tell Bob he can sneak into my box with me and live at the zoo. Have you forgotten? I'm a wild beast, Ivan, he says, sniffling the floor for crumbs. I am untamed, undaunted. Bob samples a piece of celery and spits it out. Besides, they'd notice. Humans are dumb, but they're not that dumb. Respect. Ivan, Ruby says, do you think the other elephants will like me? I think they'll love you, Ruby. You're part of their family. Do you think that the other gorillas will like you? Ruby asked. I'm a silverback, Ruby, a leader. I pull back my shoulders and hold my head high. They don't have to like me. They have to respect me. Even as I tell her this, I wonder if I can command their respect. I haven't had much practice being a real gorilla, which is much less a silverback. Do you think the other elephants will know any jokes? If they don't, I tell her, you can teach them. Ruby flaps her ears. She flicks her tail. You know what, Ivan? What, Ruby? I ask. I think I'm going to go to the box tomorrow. I gaze at her fondly. I think that's a good idea, and I think Stella would agree. Do you think the other elephants will know how to play tag? I love tag. Me too, I say. I think of my nimble sister racing through the brush, always just out of my reach. Photo. Late that night, Mac opens my cage. The full moon falls on his sagging shoulders. He seems smaller somehow. Bob, instantly alert, leaps off my stomach and dives under Not Tag. Don't bother hiding, dog, Mac says. I know you sleep in there. Mac settles into my tire swing. Might as well stay one more night. Your buddy is leaving tomorrow. Tomorrow? My stomach drops. I'm not ready. I need more time. I haven't said my goodbyes. I haven't thought this through. Mac pulls a small photo out of his shirt pocket. It's me when I was young. Mac and I are in the front seat of his convertible. I'm wearing a baseball cap and eating an ice cream cone. I was a handsome lad, but I have to admit, I look ridiculous. Nothing like a real gorilla. We had some laughs, didn't we, Guy? Max says, remember when we went to the roller coaster, the one time I tried to teach you to play baseball? Max shakes his head, chuckling. You had a lousy jump shot. He stands, sighs, looks stunned. He puts the photo back in his pocket. I'm going to miss you, Ivan, he says. Then he leaves. He doesn't look back. Leaving. Early in the morning, Maya arrives with many other humans. Some have white coats, some have rustling papers. They're hushed, busy, determined. Ruby enters her box first. I'm scared, Ivan, she calls from the ends of the box. I don't want to leave you. A part of me doesn't want to leave her either, but I know I can't tell her that. Think of the amazing stories you can share with your new family, I say. Ruby falls silent. I'll tell them your elephant joke, she says after a long pause. The one about the refrigerator? I bet they'd like that. And be sure to tell them about Bob and Julia. And me. I clear my throat. And Stella. I'll remember everyone, Ruby says, especially you. Before I can say any more, they roll the cage out of the waiting truck. It's my turn. Bob is hiding in a corner under my pool. The humans don't even notice him. While they're busy making sure my box is ready, Bob sneaks over. He licks my chin just in case there are any leftovers. You, I whispered, are the one and only Bob. I reach for Not Tag. She is a limp rag without her stuffing. Dribbles of paint covering her fur. I hold her out to Bob. He just tilts his head, confused. To help you sleep, I say. Bob takes her in his teeth and slips away. So there's Not Tag. There's Bob. Good boy. Good, Ivan, good boy, Maya says when I lumber into my box. I hear the clicker and I am rewarded with a tiny marshmallow. When I'm settled, Maya gives me a sweet drink that tastes of mango and something bitter. My eyelids grow heavy. I want to see what happens next, but I'm too sleepy. So sleepy. I dream I'm with Tag and we're swinging from vines while Stella watches. The sun slices through the thick ceiling of trees and the breeze tastes like fruit. All right, so we're going to stop there for today. So we left off with Ruby and Ivan going into their crates. So it sounds like they're going to go to the zoo. I wonder what the experience is going to be like, if they're going to like the new people that they get to hang out with. Let me know what you think. Hope you liked it. See you soon. Bye, everybody.